He sets his alarm for 5:30. He does not need to be up until 7, but there are things to do before the house wakes up. He gets 6 hours. He has been getting 6 hours for 3 years. He does not think about this the way you think about a debt. He thinks about it the way you think about the weather. It is just how things are. 6 hours. He is used to it. He is not used to it. His body has been keeping a ledger he has never opened. This is sleep debt. It is the total number of hours your body needed to sleep, minus the total number of hours you actually slept, accumulated over time. 1 hour short tonight is 1 hour of debt. It does not sound like much, but he has been 1 hour short every night for 3 years. That is over 1,000 hours. 1,000 hours of sleep his brain was owed and never received. He did not feel each hour disappear. Nobody does. Each one is too small. You lose an hour the way you lose a penny. You do not bend down to pick it up. But 1,000 pennies is not a penny. 1,000 hours is not an hour. The debt does not sit still. It earns interest. After one night of 6 hours, your reaction time slows by a fraction so small no one would measure it at a dinner party. After a week, the fraction is no longer small. After 2 weeks of 6 hours a night, a team at the University of Pennsylvania found that your cognitive performance drops to the same level as someone who has not slept at all for 48 hours straight. The same level, not similar, the same. 2 weeks of slightly short nights equals 2 full days of no sleep. But here is where the interest compounds in a direction no one expects. The people who had not slept for 48 hours knew they were impaired. They could feel it. The people who had slept 6 hours a night for 2 weeks could not. They rated themselves as slightly tired. Slightly. They had no idea how far they had fallen. The debt had taken their ability to measure the debt. That is the compound interest on sleep. It does not just take your performance, it takes your awareness of your performance. You get worse, and you lose the ability to notice you are getting worse, and those two things happen on the same schedule. A person carrying 3 years of sleep debt is making decisions, driving cars, managing people, performing surgery, writing contracts, raising children, all while operating at a level they would be horrified by if they could see it from the outside. But they cannot see it from the outside. They are inside the debt. The debt is the walls now. In 2003, Hans Van Dongen and a research team at the University of Pennsylvania ran the study that put numbers on this ledger. They split healthy adults into groups. One group slept 8 hours a night. One group slept 6. One group slept 4. They tracked cognitive performance every 2 hours, using reaction time tests, attention tasks, and working memory assessments. The 6-hour group declined steadily for 14 days and showed no sign of leveling off. Their error rates on attention tasks matched those of people tested after 2 full nights of no sleep. When asked how sleepy they felt, their self-ratings plateaued after a few days. Their brains had recalibrated. The new broken was the new normal. The debt had rewritten the baseline. There is a version of this debt that some people never carry, not because they are disciplined, because they are positioned differently. A person with one job that starts at 9 and ends at 5, no children, no second shift of caregiving or housework, no 3-hour commute carved out of what used to be sleep. That person can sleep 8 hours because nothing in their structure prevents it. Now place someone next to them, same body, same need for 8 hours, 2 children under 5, a commute that starts at 6:15, a second job 3 nights a week, a phone that rings with problems that do not belong to the 9 to 5. This person also needs 8 hours. The need is identical. The structure is not. One of them sleeps, one of them borrows, same species, same biology, same debt threshold, different position on the ledger. The debt does not care why you are short. It only counts the hours. You paid some of this debt this morning, not all of it, just today's installment. You woke up and reached for your phone before your feet touched the floor, not because you wanted to, but because your prefrontal cortex, the part that makes decisions about what matters and what does not, needed 3 more hours before it could do its job properly. So your phone decided for you. That was a payment. You drove to work on a route you have driven 400 times and arrived without remembering a single turn. That was not autopilot. That was your brain rationing its resources because the budget was short and the commute was not where it chose to spend what little it had. That was a payment. You sat in a meeting and someone said something that required a thoughtful response, and you said the first thing that was good enough instead of the thing that was right, because right costs focus, and focus costs glucose, and glucose costs sleep, and sleep was not in the account. That was a payment. You did not feel any of these. You felt normal. You felt Tuesday. The ledger does not close. It does not have a final page. There is no morning where you sleep 11 hours and the debt resets to 0, because the research is specific about this, and the number is not kind. A team at the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research found that recovering from 5 consecutive nights of short sleep required more nights of full recovery sleep than the 5 nights that created the debt. The interest had already been added. You cannot pay back 1,000 hours with a long weekend. You cannot pay it back with a vacation. The body does not do lump sum settlements. It accepts only regular payments, made nightly, at the full rate going forward. The debt already accumulated stays on the books. It shows up as the thing you cannot name but can feel, the slight distance between who you are and who you were before the ledger opened. The bill has no due date. It just never stops arriving.